Today I'm going to tell you about the 10 things that I've bought recently that were so not worth the money I put into them. And I'll tell you legit, some of these are pretty pricey because if you've been here for a hot second, you already know I'm not frugal by any stretch of the imagination. I have a tendency to buy the more expensive things. So, in fact, if you put a bunch of things on a table in front of me, 9 times out of 10, I can pick the most expensive one on the table. It's just in my blood. Hi, I'm Wendy Valencia. 10 years ago, my husband Mauricio and I were kind of financial disasters, but today we've really gotten our financial act together and we've gained almost complete control of our finances. And I say almost because we're not exactly where we want to be, but we're super close. And honestly, I gotta really say that I don't know that I'll ever feel like we're fully there. Maybe if I had $100,000 in my checking account that, was just my operating budget, I would feel like it. But what we have done is aligned our spending with our priorities and goals, and we're doing really, really well financially now. So today I'm collabing with some of my chicas over from my YouTube Mastermind group, and we're all talking about the things that we have spent money on that weren't worth it. So make sure you check out all of their videos down in the description box and go over to their channels and tell them I said hey. So let's go ahead and go over some of the purchases that we've made over the last year or so. Some of them are a little longer than a year, but legit, every single one of them was a huge waste of money. So the first thing on the list is Pyrex lunch dishes. And I know y'all heard me talk about these. I bought a ton of them to use for pre-preparing lunches and freezer meals. And what I would do is we would have leftovers from dinner and I'd pack them up in the freezer, and Mauricio, when it was lunchtime, he'd just grab one and put it in his bag and it would thaw until he was ready to microwave it at lunch. And so I got several packages of those and they came from Amazon, 6 for $39.95. So why were they a waste of money? Well, let me tell you, the lids on these things suck. They break, they crack, they leak, they're horrible. I mean, truly horrible. The Pyrex is amazing, and I've had no issues with the Pyrex whatsoever, but oh my goodness, these lids are atrocious. And I've had to buy new lids to replace old lids, but I stopped even doing that because it just is such a waste of money to invest more money in these things. So what are we gonna do about it? Nothing. We're just going to deal with it, and at some point I will replace them, and I already know which ones I'm going to get. I'm going to get the ones with the snap-on lids, but for now I've got to deal with what I have because I am not spending that kind of money on more crap. So the second thing on my list was an orchid that I got, a faux orchid that I had gotten from Pier 1 Imports, and it originally priced for $124.95 plus tax plus shipping. It ended up being close to, gosh, over $150. I was fortunate to get it on sale and with free shipping, so it ended up being like $110. Still a lot of money. And let me tell you, I did a lot of research, and this thing was supposed to be amazing. Everybody talked about how beautiful it was and how many compliments they got. All the reviews were great. So I was super excited. I was going to put it up here in my studio on this shelf that's invisible right now because it hasn't gotten here yet. And I thought it was going to be gorgeous. So I got the box, I opened the box, and it was heinous. It was cheap, it was ugly, it did not look real. Everybody in the reviews said it looked so real. And these are people who must have never seen a real orchid because this thing did not look real. So needless to say, I packed it up back in the box and walked it over to Pier 1 Imports and returned it. So the third thing on my list is, oddly enough, clothing, but not your standard run-of-the-mill clothing. So people frequently ask me why I buy name brand stuff for me, for Melina, for Mauricio. And truth be told, there's a lot behind why we buy name brand. But one of the factors is I don't particularly enjoy trying on clothes. And so Melina doesn't have the patience for it. And Mauricio, I just buy him stuff. He doesn't go shopping for clothes usually. So to know the brand that fits really well, I can buy the clothes at a discount on Poshmark. And again, if you followed me for a hot second, you know I buy clothes on Poshmark all the time. In fact, we very rarely buy brand new clothes. Almost everything we buy is on Poshmark. But there's one thing that this year I learned, and it took me 3 times of making the same error over and over to learn this lesson. And that is, do not buy brands you don't know. And here's why. I am gifted in this region. And finding tops that will fit me is difficult. And so I have to stick with brands that I know will fit. Otherwise, I end up having to return stuff. And guess what? You can't return stuff on Poshmark. So every time I bought something that didn't fit, it ended up in the donation pile. Number 4 was our swanky gym. And this was older. This happened when we first started around YouTube. We got the gym membership prior to that. But we decided, Mauricio and I had decided that we needed to join a gym. I was working out in the gym at work, and I was working out faithfully, and I was running all the time, and I was doing great. And Mauricio decided that he wanted to work out too. He convinced me to join a gym, and he was like, yeah, we'll go every day on our way home from work. We'll stop. And this is back when we were driving together. And so we picked a gym that was kind of on the way home. It was a little bit out of the way, but not really. And it was a super nice gym, so we thought we would really enjoy going there. What we discovered driving together is I was fine going to the gym. I always had my gym bag, but Mauricio is not as hardcore as I am. And so he would frequently want to go home. He wouldn't want to go to the gym. And so we just didn't go. And so for a year, we paid, I can't even remember how much. It was a ridiculous amount of money to go to the gym and not go. It was a couple hundred a month at least. I don't really even remember how much it was, but I remember at the time being really angry that we were spending that money and not going to the gym. But live and learn. We won't join a gym again. Or at least Mauricio won't join a gym again. I will, but not now. So the 5th thing on my list are these adorable little sparkly high tops that I got for Melina. They were $24.95 at Nordstrom's Rack Room. And I mistakenly let her pick them out, and she tried them on, and she tried on a size that was a half size smaller than she normally wears. And truth be told, when I buy her new shoes, I usually buy them a half size to a full size larger, depending on the shoe. And the reason is because I know she's going to grow, and if they're not too big, then she can still run around in them. Now, if they're like flats or something like that, obviously that won't work. But you know, boots, tennis shoes, whatever, they can be a little too big and it's no big deal. Well, these were a half size too small, and she tried them on and she was like, oh no, they fit fine, they're great. And I'm like, are you sure? And she said, yeah. And I had her run around the store and they were great. So we went ahead and got them, and she wore them to school one day, and she came home and she said, Mommy, these shoes are too small. I was like, I decided I was going to take them back, and then I realized that she had gone on the playground in the mud. So those were lost. So yeah, they're going in the donation pile. The 6th thing on our list is more about a lesson in compromise. For me, it's a waste of money. For Mauricio, it's important. And that is our $175 annual fantasy football bill. And in my book, it's a ridiculous amount of money to waste, but Mauricio loves it. And every year he loses. We never get any of that money back, ever. And that's okay, because it's all about the camaraderie amongst his friends, right? So the 7th thing on the list is wallpaper from Wayfair for a total of $451. Now, this wallpaper you see back here that I got from my studio, that is not from Wayfair. That is a significantly more expensive wallpaper, because when the wallpaper from Wayfair got delivered, and that $451 was actually several rolls of wallpaper. I bought test rolls knowing that I could return whatever I didn't want. All of them were horrible. I mean, they were cheap, they had no depth to them, and they were super shiny. I mean, it just was not realistic wallpaper. So, I decided to return them. So number 8 is my fancy bike that I bought on Facebook Marketplace, and I spent like a grand total of like 100 and something on it. It was an Electra, which are generally a pretty expensive bike, and it's really cute and I love it, and it's a death trap. I mean, like plummeting down the hill, my brakes don't work. I went to get the brakes repaired. It was going to cost more to replace the brakes than buying a new bike. I'm just like, no. So what am I going to do? I'm just not going to ride down any hills, because I'm not buying another bike anytime in the near future. Don't particularly enjoy bike riding. That's more a bonding thing for Mauricio and Melina. So I'm going to leave them to the biking, and I'll only ride a bike when we're going on flat places. The 9th thing that we spent money on that wasn't really worth it, if I'm being really honest, was our Halloween costumes. We probably spent a total of like $250 on all of the Halloween type costumes that we're going to wear once. So first we had our costumes that Melina told us we were going to be. She said she was going to be Mal. I was going to be Maleficent, Mal's mom. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Descendants 3, Hades, Mal's dad, Mauricio. Mauricio made a really good Hades. His hair's on fire a lot. I got all the costumes off Amazon. Normally I buy them at Chasing Fireflies, but since we were doing family costumes, I wasn't spending that kind of money. And so I got them on Amazon, and they looked super cute. I was really pleased how it turned out. I was real happy with it. And Melina loved her costume. She's worn it like 4 times since then. And then we realized shortly before Halloween, the Sunday before Halloween, we realized that there was a trunk or treat, and we had to decorate the car. And we had to come up with an idea to decorate the car, because the year before I decorated it with spiders and spider webs, and it was a church thing, and there were scared kids. It was a whole thing. So I said we were doing something happy and smiling this year. So I knew it couldn't be the Descendants, and we wanted to dress up in a costume for the trunk or treat. So we came up with the rainbow themed unicorn trunk or treat. So we went into Party City and we got rainbow colors in tablecloths, and then we got poster board and put glitter and cotton balls, and then we made a sun with some glitter on it. It looked really cute. And then I was the white unicorn, because I had seen these awesome, like, I don't even know what you would call them. They're not masks. They're like headdresses almost. These huge things of unicorns, and there was a white one and a black one. So I was the white one, and I dressed all in white. So it was a really easy costume. All I needed was the white head thing. And then Mauricio was the black one, and he dressed all in black. And Melina was the rainbow unicorn in the middle in her rainbow dress. And it was super cute. We were really pleased with it. And it was super fast to make. We might do that next year. That might be worth the money, because we might wear those unicorn costumes a couple of years for sure. The Descendants one, those are pretty pricey, and we probably will never wear those again. So my 10th biggest waste of money, let's call it, was my hair. Yeah, I'm honest to goodness embarrassed by saying this. So I was getting some headshots done, and I was really excited about it, and I really wanted my hair to look nice. And so I scheduled a hair appointment with a local hairstylist down in Tyson's Corner, which is fairly pricey for the area. I mean, the hair salons in this area are expensive. And in Tyson's Corner, not the mall, but in the general vicinity around Tyson's Corner, is extra expensive, because the rent is high, so everything there is super expensive. So I got my hair done, color, cut, everything, the whole gamut. $700. And if you have followed me for any amount of time, you know that Mauricio colors my hair. Always. This is the one time he didn't, and it will be the last time he doesn't color my hair. Because honestly, my hair color is not a priority for me. As long as it looks nice, I'm good. And oddly enough, everybody always asks me where I get my hair colored. Even so, when I went into this hair salon, I was telling her I wanted her to take out the brassiness and whatever, and do corrective color wherever she felt it was necessary. And she was like, who does your hair now? Because I don't see any errors. It's truly gorgeous. And I'm like, yeah, that's my husband. And she's like, oh, is he a professional hairdresser? I'm like, no. She's like, really? How did he learn to color hair? And I was like, YouTube. So, I mean, I took it as a huge compliment because the woman who did my hair is like the best colorist in that salon. But I'm not going to spend that kind of money on my hair again. I might get a haircut with her. I like the cut she gave me, but I don't need her to color my hair. And I flat out told her that I was doing it because I was getting headshots. So, she understood. So will I do it again? Nope. Never again. So I'll see you in the next one. See ya. We're out.